What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to XJW Diaries. My name is Justin. So let's talk a little bit about the very early stages of waking up from the Jehovah's Witnesses. That point when you just are beginning to question this unquestionable organization. The point when you're finally giving yourself permission to think that, you know what, something is a little bit off with this religion. But when you get to that point, 9 times out of 10, you're going to face some major roadblocks. The kind of roadblocks that can easily send you right back to Pimi land. So I've gotten some messages from some people that are right at that early stage of waking up, just beginning to question things. And understandably, these people are dealing with a lot of confusion and frustration, a little bit of fear and guilt. And also, understandably, these people have some very deep questions and concerns. So hopefully this video can provide a little bit of comfort for those early stages of awakening and help you guys to break through some of those early roadblocks that could definitely stop your progress altogether. So let's start off with one of the roadblocks that most people run into at the beginning. So let's say that you are a fully loyal, fully plugged in Jehovah's Witness. The kind of witness that if the Watchtower made their own underwear, you would not only wear it, you would judge other people for not wearing it. That kind of witness. But then something happens. You hear something at a meeting. You see something online. You overhear someone saying something. No matter what it is, something has happened that has sparked some major questions in your mind. And you may be honestly considering that something is not quite right about the organization. And 9 times out of 10, soon after you get that feeling, you will face the first big roadblock, which is fear itself. And if there's any one thing that can stop a witness who has the potential of waking up from actually doing so, it's because they are usually terrified. Too terrified to question the organization. Too terrified to even think that something is wrong. And can you really blame them? I mean, as a witness, you are constantly bombarded with vivid images and movies and articles, all depicting not only the end of the world, but also depicting what happens to people who disobey Jehovah. And the Watchtower, of course, has you convinced that one of the biggest ways, one of the most major ways that you can disobey Jehovah is by questioning what they call his organization. So you got to ask yourself, why would any organization feel the need to scare you that much? Why would any organization calling itself the truth have to scare you into believing them? Why would any organization that claims to love you so much need to put fear in you in order to prevent you from leaving them? Of course, the reason is because they use fear as a means of control. Because if you can make someone scared enough, you can get them to do just about anything. And this is why the Watchtower takes the Bible, which is a very big book, right? There are many, many topics discussed in the Bible. But they take that very big book, and out of all those topics, they mainly focus on destruction, Armageddon, death, punishment. Out of that whole book, that gigantic book, they mainly focus on topics that are fear-producing. You gotta wonder why. So if fear keeps getting in the way of you waking up or someone that you know being able to wake up, I mean, it's really only natural because as a witness, it's been programmed into you. I mean, think about it. As a witness, the Watchtower not only is telling you things to be afraid of, they are requiring you to be afraid of those things. And so if an organization, really a corporation, is requiring you to be afraid of several things, and one of the biggest things that they want you to be most afraid of is questioning their authority, then once again, you have to ask why. Can you see why they don't want Jehovah's Witnesses asking that question, why, too much? And another thing to think about, if these people really do have the truth, then why are they so afraid and why are they telling you to be afraid of lies? Because really the truth should be able to stand up to any lie. Always. That's why on my splash screen you see that saying that the truth does not mind being questioned, but a lie hates to be challenged. And here they're telling you to be afraid of questioning the truth. So once again, you got to ask why. So obviously fear is a humongous subject, and hopefully one day when I can do it justice, I would love to make a video just about fear. Just showing all the ways that the Watchtower uses fear as a means to deepen their mental conditioning. But for now, I'll just say, if you're feeling fear about something, just remember to ask, is this mine or is it somebody else's? And if it is somebody else's, then please do not be afraid to investigate it. Now, before I move on, I'll just say one more thing. There's this movie called The Village. And if you've seen the movie before, you might know where I'm going with this. But basically, I won't spoil it, but it's this movie about this group of people that live in a village. And this village is surrounded by this very dense, deep forest. And these people that live in the village have been taught from a young age to be deathly afraid of that forest. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. And if you don't have time to check it out, maybe you could just go read the summary. But if you do that, then you will see what I mean when I say that sometimes people keep you afraid, not for your benefit, but for their benefit. So another big roadblock that a lot of people run into, and I know I definitely ran into it, is that question of, if this is not the truth, then what is? Jehovah's Witnesses are constantly using the words, the truth, to refer to the Jehovah's Witness organization. It's in the magazines, it's in the talks, it's in the videos. You don't have to be a Jehovah's Witness too long before you start using yourself the words, the truth, to refer to the Jehovah's Witnesses. As you keep using those words, the truth, you are mentally conditioning yourself. So it's no wonder that you are now asking yourself, if this is not the truth, then what is? Because you have been calling the Jehovah's Witnesses the truth for so long. I mean, think about how powerful that is, how deep they are in your head. If you go to your average person and you ask them, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the words, the truth? Most people will say the opposite of a lie or something similar to that. Now, if you go to a witness and you ask them, what is the first thing that you think of when you hear the words the truth? They're thinking of the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower Corporation. That's a lot of power. Now, if you ask a Jehovah's Witness, why do you believe that you guys have the truth? That person will gladly give you all sorts of examples and scriptures detailing why they and they alone are the truth. But here's the thing though, something that witnesses don't like to talk about. The Jehovah's Witnesses are not the only organization that believes that they are the truth. If you go to the Mormon LDS Church, you go to the Seventh-day Adventists, I mean, if you even go to the Amish, you won't be able to bring your iPhone, but you can go to them. And they will gladly tell you all of the reasons and scriptures and examples of why they are the truth. So if you are stuck in that rut of believing that what you've been told is the truth, and there's no other truth, well, that's only natural because you've been told to think that way. But don't keep yourself ignorant when facts are presented that could show that what you believe is the truth may possibly not be. So here's another big roadblock for you. One that definitely has the potential to stop a witness right in their tracks. One that also has the potential to shoo away any question marks before they get too deep. And that's that old saying that the Jehovah's Witnesses are a perfect organization ran by imperfect men. Now, I could tell you that back in September of 2022, during the monthly broadcast, Stephen Lett, governing body member, said, and I quote, that it was a bold-faced lie from apostates that Jehovah's Witnesses hide pedophiles. And then I could also tell you that the very next month, in October, several Jehovah's Witnesses in Pennsylvania were charged with child sex abuse. I could tell you things like that. You could watch countless videos, You can go on jwfacts.com and read everything that he has on there. And no matter what, you can still shoo it all away with that saying that this is a perfect organization ran by imperfect men. So how do you get over a roadblock like that one? Well, the fact is, I cannot tell you about an image that you already have in your head. Nobody can. All I can say is something that I've said in a lot of videos. Something that I'm going to keep saying because it really is a key that unlocks a lot of those closed off doors. And that's the fact that as a Jehovah's Witness, and any other religion for that matter, you only believe what you have been told to believe. You see, the thing is, even if you were raised, fully raised as a witness, at some point in time, that concept of a perfect organization ran by imperfect men, that was an alien concept to you. At some point in time, somebody had to tell that to you, whether it was told to you in text form or verbally. Somebody told it to you. And then after enough time went on, you've heard more and more people say that exact same thing. It becomes more true. And then you hear your authority figures, elders and circuit overseers, maybe even a governing body member, they say that same thing. And now it really starts to sink in because you really trust these people to tell you the absolute truth. And after enough time has went on, now you find that you're saying it, that same thing, to other people. And so you have now adopted a concept that was completely alien to you. You have now adopted it as your own. And so you believe what someone told you to believe. Okay, so those are some of the more core roadblocks that I see come up most often for people that are just starting to wake up. But now let's talk about some of the more personal questions, the type of questions that can easily turn into their own roadblocks if you're not careful. Now, since these are more personal questions, obviously only you have the true answer. So the first question that I see come up very often that can definitely weigh on your mind, especially after leaving the witnesses, which is a religion that encompasses every aspect of your life. The one question that could come up that can easily turn into its own roadblock is, what do I believe in now? Now that you have this huge gap left by the Watchtower, after seeing those beliefs crumble, it's very easy to want to jump headfirst into finding something else to replace that belief system with, to fill in that gap. So when it comes to this question, my advice, and honestly, some EXJWs may disagree, but this is the nice thing about being part of a community where we're not all required to believe the same thing. So my advice when it comes to what should you believe in now is just leave that alone for a second. You know, as a witness, our belief system was such a huge part of our core personality. When you're meeting someone for the first time and they're asking you about yourself, if you're a good witness, you're going to try to sneak in the fact that you're a witness into that introduction. But in the real world, your belief is just one small aspect of who you are. And this is one of the reasons that I personally do not talk about my own beliefs on this channel. Because I can remember how it was for me watching EXJW videos just like this when I was first waking up, and I would see that some EXJWs were very outspoken atheists. And then I'd find other EXJWs that were very outspoken Christians. And I found myself getting bounced back and forth, getting influenced by the different speakers, changing my belief systems to adopt theirs. And in the end, I didn't pick either one, but it just added to the confusion that I was already feeling from waking up from the Jehovah's Witnesses. So please don't feel rushed to find some new belief system to adopt. Just find you. So another question that comes up is, what will happen to my friends and family? We know that the Watchtower holds them hostage. So obviously your relationship with your friends and family will be different. How different is completely up to you. There's some people out there that turn in a disassociation letter or get disfellowshipped, and from that announcement, they're shunned. There is no more relationship. And then there's also people out there that just stay physically in, mentally out forever. And they do this to maintain their relationship with their family. So honestly, it's up to you. You have to choose for yourself what's going to be the right path for you. Some people may choose to just stay an awake witness. Other people may choose to just cut all ties and have their full freedom. In my case, I'm definitely partial to fading because it gives you that chance to have your freedom, but also still maintain at least some relationship with your family members. So another question that comes up pretty often, and this is one that almost sent me back to Watchtower land, is the question of who will I become now that I'm not a witness? And this is a scary question because the Watchtower has trained us that worldly people are all sorts of bad. They've also trained us that people who leave the organization, their life ends up horrible. But this doesn't have to be the case. You are now in the driver's seat of your life. When you leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, you become you. So this is your chance to tear off the new personality and put on your real personality. You may find that you are a better person out of the Watchtower than you were in. I know that is definitely the case for me. And that's one of the big benefits of leaving the Witnesses, is that you now don't have any limitation on your personal development. Because the Watchtower, though they taught a lot of moral standards, they also capped our personal development in a lot of ways. Your average person has the ability to go and buy whatever books that they want, seek whatever advice that they want in order to help bring themselves to a higher level. Your average person has the freedom and ability to seek out a counselor to help them to get over things in their past. And again, bring themselves to a higher level. Your average person, if they are adventurous, has the freedom to go down to Costa Rica or South America and try ayahuasca or something like that and have an experience that changes their whole life in one night. Your average person has that freedom to elevate themselves however they want to. But as a witness, going to a counselor is frowned upon. Seeking external advice, buying self-development books, things like that, oftentimes that's frowned upon. And going to try ayahuasca? Are you kidding me? That's a drug to them. Definitely frowned upon. So now that you're out of the Witnesses, you do have the freedom to take whatever measures are best for you to get yourself to wherever it is that you want to be. So who will you become? You become you. Okay, so one more question that sometimes can come up and can be very scary and definitely turn into a major roadblock is the question of, can I even survive on the outside world? How do I even live out there? Because as a witness, your whole world is being a witness. That is your normal. As a witness, they have their own subculture. Your culture is being a witness. That is your normal. So now that you're breaking out of that, can you even survive on the outside? How long will it take for that to become normal? So my advice is don't survive out here. Don't do it. That's keeping you lower. Thrive out here. Figure out what you want for your life and go for it. Figure out the limitations that the Jehovah's Witnesses have set over you, all those glass ceilings that were placed over you, and break through every single one of them. Figure out how high it is that you want to go, and then go past that. Because that is the best thing that you can do as an ex-Jehovah's Witness, is to be as happy as you can be. Because the Witnesses want you, they expect you to fall apart after leaving and to crawl back to them crying and begging them to take you back. Don't do that. Leave and thrive. Don't survive, thrive. So if you yourself are trying to leave the Witnesses and get back your freedom and you're at those early stages, I hope that this video has been helpful to you. And if you're someone that has already left, but you have a family member or friend that you're hoping will one day leave, these are some of the things, some of the roadblocks that they may face, that they may need your help with. So as usual, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your time. That is your most valuable asset, something that you can spend, but you can never get back. So I really appreciate every single second that you guys spend with me. And with that, I got more on the way. I got a video coming up about the holidays, so stay tuned. and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.